Well, it began last year. Let me just run you a timeline. I saw this on a couple of news outlets, and I thought, why aren't people talking about this? Let's go back in time. December the 30th, 2019. The World Health Organization discovers an unknown virus with pneumonia-like symptoms. It was first observed in the Wuhan province of China. 1 week later, January 7th, they identified this virus as the coronavirus. 4 days after that, on January 11th, Chinese state media report the first known death from an illness that originated in the Wuhan market. 4 days after that, now let me tell you what was happening here in the United States. Just to remind you, on January 15th, Speaker Nancy Pelosi holds a vote to send articles of impeachment to the United States Senate. They have a solemn signing ceremony on that day, if you remember it. 6 days later, January the 21st, the first person with the coronavirus arrives in the United States from China, where he had been in Wuhan. 2 days after that, on January 23rd, two things happen. The House impeachment managers make their opening arguments to remove the President of the United States. On that same day, January 23rd, China closes off the city of Wuhan completely. They're trying to slow the spread of the coronavirus to the rest of China. 7 days, 1 week after that, on January 30th, senators begin asking 2 days of questions on both sides in the president's impeachment trial. On that very same day, the World Health Organization declares a global health emergency as the coronavirus continues to spread. On the very next day, January 31st, why don't we hear this in the news, guys? January 31st, the Senate holds a vote whether to allow further witnesses and documents on the impeachment trial. On the same day that happens, January 31st, President Trump declares a national health emergency. He imposes a ban on travel to and from China. Former Vice President Joe Biden calls President Trump's decision hysterical xenophobia and fear-mongering. 2 days after that, on February the 2nd, the first death from coronavirus outside of China is reported in the Philippines. The president immediately on that day orders a temporary ban for all non-U.S. citizens who have visited China. The very next day, February 3rd, House impeachment managers begin closing arguments calling President Trump the threat to national security. On February 4th, the day after that, President Trump talks about the coronavirus in his State of the Union address, and the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, ripped up every page of it. On February 5th, the next day, the Senate will vote to acquit President Trump of both articles of impeachment. On that same day, that afternoon, February 5th, the House finally takes up the coronavirus on the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Asia. That's long after this thing started. For 20 days, from the first day of the first death of the coronavirus was known, I'm just going to be bold, the Democrats in the House did nothing about it. They were busy with the impeachment trial. They had weeks to get this thing off and running. To the extent that they commented on it at all was only to tear up the president's speech or to call him a racist. And we were told that he was the problem, not coronavirus. James 3, 16, 17, and 18. Brother Copeland talked about this, Gene, when he was talking with you. He says this, James 3:16, for where there is envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy, good fruits, without partiality, and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in the peace of them that make peace. And that's the answer for us today, to live peacefully and no strife.
That's right.